from across the pond. You got a hat tip.
Oh, thank you, Barlissimo. I appreciate it, man.
His cap has been doffed in your honor.
I love how they talk over there.
So do I. Speaking in King's English.
I love it. Yeah, I was coming at Matt Nagy, Barlissimo, screaming abuse. All right, as I try to speak the lingo over there, I was screaming abuses towards Matt Nagy.
I was, you know what? When you did that, when I listened to it, I like the way you kind of joked and laughed about it, just to kind of get his guard down, so you can give him that tough question.
I was like,
okay,
you gotta listen. You gotta have a little honey. You just can't come out just with all vinegar.
He came out sweet.
Hey, listen, Matt, I'm pissed off, dude. Right? What the hell are you doing not running Montgomery? You're gonna run him? No, right now. Are you gonna run him 20 times? Are you going? No, answer my question.
Listen,
yes or no?
I was nice. Listen, this goes back to, so I can listen. I remember
hey, let's bring Phil on real quick, since he's
bring Phil on.
Hey, bring up my guy. You're gonna have the 2 accent on the other side, but let's bring our boy Phil on so he can get in on this conversation. What's up,
Kenneth Davis?
Y'all too much. You guys are too much.
Dude, we promoted the shit out of you because I just want to piggyback. I'm, listening in the background, smiling because you did a tremendous job holding people accountable. That is something that we at TTNL and we as brothers here, keeping it 100, have wanted. And I've gotten more DMs. Oh, thank you for talking about Ken. I just watched the show in the last 24 hours praising you for keeping it 100 with this coach and putting him in accountability. Something I think
that's on Front Street.
Yeah, he put him on Front Street, but you also did it with the football sense.
Yes.
A lot of these guys will ask questions, but they don't double down in regards to the game. That's the most important. Everybody's looking for a narrative. Instead, Kenneth, you handled yourself, as Shawn said, so well in getting his guard down, but keeping it a buck. And that, I don't know, as a friend and as someone who I wrote you earlier this week when I watched it, I know my partner, colleague Shane said the same thing. We were just so proud of you.
That means a lot.
We wanted this coach to answer these kind of questions, and you were the guy that did it. And you did it eloquently. You didn't, I'm not.
Yeah, I think that to come heavy-handed and
exactly
wop, but still state the facts. Yes. And some of those facts I've gleaned off of you guys. I said on my show last night, you were still the first person that pointed out what David Montgomery was.
I appreciate that, man.
That that no one was like, listen, no, this is David Montgomery and what David Montgomery can be. And Shawn, I was just about to say, I remember being in the office. This is clearly pre-pandemic. Been in the office like 2.5 years ago, like one of the first and second times you asked me to come on here. And I remember going into one of the booths in the office. And one of the things that we agreed on and started talking about was, at least 20 carries off the bus. And this was before like even David Montgomery, I think, was even there. Right. You know what I'm saying? Where we was like, and that's why I was about to say, I was being nice to him with saying 17. Listen, I'm just 17. I'm not asking you a lot, you know what I'm saying? But just, we all know, and I know what's sexy and you're playing Madden and all that, and you can start doing creative stuff, but we all know what running is fundamentally to football. Period. And it may not be sexy, and I always say only Kyle Shanahan can make it look sexy, but the fact that this coach has been unwilling to do the simplest thing consistently when your side of the ball is flawed, like it's kind of like you're trying to learn something in grade school and I have this chart for you to use, but you keep refusing to use the damn chart. And I want to smack you upside your young ass head because the chart's right there. Yes. Use the damn chart. And that's the anger and ire, because Matt Nagy, to me, I don't know Matt Nagy, but he was kind during the interview. He went along with the jest. We had a decent enough time, and I appreciate that from him. But the fact that he hasn't mastered his craft And if you haven't mastered your craft, help yourself. And that's the thing. And I wasn't trying to be a meatball within, like when he was saying, as far as like, I know it's Chicago and is running the ball in this defense. No, we want to see the ball thrown through the air, but we know to get it through the air, you need to run the damn ball.
Make it easier to throw it through the air when you're running the damn ball.
And you know what, Kenneth? Just to highlight what you just said, both of you. Historically, Chicago couldn't throw the ball because of the quarterbacks that they had. So therefore they had to run the ball. Right. And thus that narrative you got to run the ball. You got to run. The only time, as my boy Cars from our show, Bears Nerd, said, Eric Kramer, you guys remember, with Jeff
Graham, about him earlier today,
Curtis Conway. That was the first time I know in my lifetime that I felt like we got it done both on the ground and in the air consistently. I'm not glimpses with Cutler, glimpses with Josh McCown and Rex Grossman. I'm talking about every weekend they went out to play. Graham, Conway were sometimes they were almost 102 yards, 119 yards. It was a different energy. And I remember being a young football fan saying, this is the first time I felt like, okay, we got a chance in every game. And it was just a short period. Then it went away, the coaching stuff. So to your point, again, giving a little context to it, Coach, you got the quarterback now. This is your year. And everything you said, Kenneth, is right. You can't abandon the run. This isn't the Arena League. And this is where historically he comes from. So that's why it's so important to have people like you up there with the opportunity to talk to this guy. You never know. You could be in his head saying, you know what, we need to run the ball. If, you know, as tight end jet sweeps and all that stuff, that gimmick stuff, that only gets you but so far. A consistent running game, to Shawn's point, to your point, is going to open up this passing game and everything you want. You put it perfectly. The direction, it's like the father who gets the kids Christmas gift, Castle Grayskull, whatever, and he just starts putting it together. I know what I'm doing. He doesn't read you got to read the directions. The wife is going to be looking at you in a little bit like, is it
you don't know what you're doing, do you? Shut up, honey.
The drawbridge isn't coming down correctly because you didn't. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. It's not that difficult. It's not that. And again, I was someone that was a Matt Nagy apologist. All right. I love that you said that. I have no problem. And I have no problem just admitting I was wrong. Like my former co-host was not. I was. We would battle on air on our program on 670 The Score. And last year was when I was like, I was wrong about this, you know, and it was the truth, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt like he was learning on the job, but he would learn from his mistakes. And it just was like, no, he's unwilling to learn from his mistakes. I mean, he basically had to acquiesce the play calling last year because how bad the season was. It wasn't something he would have just done if the Bears had stayed over 500. So that was me giving up on Matt Nagy, being a huge Matt Nagy fan. That's why I had to ask him, how do you get us back? Us people that were out here championing you, that you let us down, to be honest with you. Awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm open up with saying I was wrong about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought you was the one. I thought you
at 100. And I think Coach Nagy let his guard down because you were. And too many of these guys in that position, like I wish I could have been in that interview with you, because I had a couple to piggyback off of you just to get to see. I'm sure Shawn feels the same way, just to see how he would address football conversation. It's one thing to address COVID and this, that, and the other, and politics. How about this?
I could see you, Phil, going Sam Kinison on him. Answer the question.
I probably would. I think I wonder how I would
question. Get him off. His credentials are pulled. Get him off. Answer the fucking question.
Yes, I would prepare overnight to make sure I was in the appropriate Zen place.
Yeah, you have to be. You
I
have
still
to.
would have my.
The crazy part. So look, real quick, just to give you the backstory. So we're sitting there waiting for Nagy, right? And all of a sudden, Jerry Rice, no, Alex Smith is supposed to come on, right? So we're like, damn, what the hell? Right? So Alex Smith was like, nah, my tea time's coming on. But Nagy's tea time was supposed to be before and Alex Smith. So we don't even know if Nagy's going to be there. And all of a sudden, Jerry Rice pops into the Zoom, right?
Oh.
Now, mind you, it's not my interview. It's for whoever's in San Francisco, right? So I'm like, damn it, it's Flash 80, and I can't come on here and be like, Jerry Rice. You
know who you are, Jerry? Do you know who you are?
Jerry. I mean, for guys of our age,
Jerry
Effin Rice, right? You arguably could say he's the greatest football player ever. Now, of course, we're gonna go with Walter Payton, but he's in that rare.
He's the best receiver.
He's the best receiver, but he's in that rare air.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
If we were starting a team, he's your number one.
Yeah, right. And then we're still waiting. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick jumps into the Zoom, right? And it's just like, damn it, what's going on? Is this really going to happen?
Go shave, Ryan. Go shave your beard. Get somebody else.
Right. and then my higher up jumps in and is like, hey, we're waiting for Matt Nagy. Is this something? Can we get him or whatever? They go get Matt. You hear Matt Nagy in the background, and then the interview commences. And again, Matt Nagy was cool. By all means, he was a cool cat. I think he enjoyed himself. I enjoyed myself, but there were definitely some questions. And I mean, I definitely had you guys in mind as far as just some real football shit. You know what I'm saying? And I need to know this.
I tell you what, he probably gained so much respect for you. You know, I don't know how many times you interviewed him before, but you hit him with fucking football questions. You didn't hit him with like bullshit questions. You know, like you hit him with football. You know, and as a coach, real recognizes real. And the type of question, and that's why I want. I can't wait to. I'm trying to get credentialed because I want to ask him football questions. Because when you're a coach, like it's a different, and you get asked a certain question, like, oh, he knows what the fuck he's talking about. He knows what the hell he's talking about. You know, and you talk on a different level, and then most reporters, and he gained a lot of respect for you from that whole thing, and dude, that's awesome. And I think you might have the in now because trust me, he ain't gonna forget your name, dude.
I hope
he ain't gonna forget your name.
I hope he continue. Kenneth, you do a great job in the under center. Your voice is amazing, powerful. I need you to read some bedtime stories to my kids.
Put them on tape. Books on tape.
And your laugh is just irreplaceable. I think the world of you, bro. I do. I'm not afraid to say how much I love somebody. I've never even.
And I like that.
I appreciate
that.
My dad taught me that, and then again, it came up a couple weeks ago because people pass on, unfortunately, that are your age or younger, and it just puts it into perspective. Like we get one life. We get one life.
We all about to have a birthday within a week.
Yes.
Just thinking about it. I didn't know Shawn was the 25th.
You're the 24th.
I'm the 24th. And wait, you.
Holy, we're all July babies. No wonder why.
Yeah, our parents was getting it in. Our parents was getting it in the ground.
23, 24.
No, I'm 21. I'm 21.
Oh, you're 21.
Why
do you have to mess it up, Phil? Thanks.
I'm sorry. I'm like a Cancer Leo. I'm like that end.
Yeah, because 23 starts Leo.
Yeah, the best of both worlds, I guess. But we'll have to celebrate our birthday with a shot.
We have to have We have to,
man. Shot together, the three of us.
But listen, before I get up out of here, I appreciate the times that we all have. I appreciate the community. I also, Barlissimo, it is funny when my voice gets high pitched, and it's funny. My dad's used to be like that too. To have a deep voice, when it gets high pitched, you like it gets wild.
That shows your passion.
Exactly.
That's getting passionate.
Oh yeah, if I'm out there, definitely, Shawn. You know,
he goes way up there. We have a drop every show with Kenneth Davis. You appear on every show with that drop. Golly, what's going on out here?
That was my Randy Moss. My Randy Moss. He's like, don't mean the ball. They can't shoot me. Listen, we've had some definitely within this last year to 6 months some wild times, and I can't wait for the football season to start, just because of how much wilder it's going to get.
I was saying that yesterday to Shane. I was like, we haven't even started the season yet. I just did a 4-hour show the other night, and we were just talking football and life, and it's been crazy. And I go, all we have is the paints from last year. We don't have the paints that they're gonna give us this year. So imagine how crazy it's gonna be. So yeah,
you missed the opening segment at the top of the morning with our guy Joseph Phillips, and he was adamant. He's like, just start Justin Fields. You're gonna mess up his dude. He was so adamant about starting Justin Fields. I'm like, dude, you can. He's like, it's so funny how he actually talked himself. He backtracked where he was like, we don't have a good offensive line. That's why you need Justin Fields in there. I'm like, no, that's why you don't
need Justin Fields in there.
I said that's why you put Andy Dalton in there. Make sure
him get his ass
line
beat.
is
let them get cohesive.
$10 million, dude. You're good. You got good insurance. You got $10 million this year. You're all right. Let's get this offensive line cohesive, and then we'll bring in the young buck. Okay. Yeah, and
totally.
Yes, it was crazy. It was funny. So hey, Ken.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, finish, bro. No,
dude, I understand. Believe me, I understand wanting to play with the new toy, but it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. And establish the foundation. Like, why? Listen, if you don't trust Matt Nagy, right? Why do you want to throw Justin Fields out there when as Phil just said, this line isn't cohesive yet? Right? Like, and regardless of what you think, the line isn't cohesive. Tevin Jenkins has never played left tackle in the pros, never played right tackle in the pros, but he's never played left tackle full on, even in college. Let that kid get used to playing that position. Whoever's going to be right, if it's going to be a Fetty, cool. Let that line gel, and then we can start talking about putting this kid in the game. Like, I
totally agree. I said the same thing the other night, and it's up to Matt Nagy and company to make preseason scrimmages so important. You can't bubble wrap with the CBA the way it is, with the lack of padded practices and what they could do. Those scrimmages become even more astronomically important because anybody could do it against somebody going half speed. But when the chips are on and the message is clear, the best are going to play, then you're going to get the best offensive line that you possibly can. And that's something we haven't had here. And Olin was on our show a couple weeks ago. He said it. You see that they've completely rearranged the attitude of the guys up front. So it's so important to try to, when you're going live, you could talk about it all you want. Like I said it the other night, Jenkins shouldn't just get this position. As much as I love the guy, he's got to be in the competition and earn that shit. Exactly. And when you do, guess what? Now you're cooking with gas. Now everybody's opportunity to go out there and be successful begins to be easy.
And you know why? Because they trust you, because you earned it. Because everybody in that huddle says you earn that shit. You weren't given it because you're a first round, second round, whatever pick. You're this guy here, that guy. You earned it, and that's the one thing that you ask any football player. Yes, they want the money, but they want the respect of their peers. They want the respect of the other 10 guys in that huddle and the other 52 guys or however many in the NFL. But however, the rest of your teammates, that's what you want, is that respect. And if they know, earned, not given. And that's what you want, and say, hey, because I earned to be here, because you earned to be here, you earned to be here. Because if I busted my ass for my position, I don't want someone else just jumping in because he was great in college. What's his name? Tony, what's his face? Was a stud in college, and he
Tony
was
Mandarich.
Tony Mandarich. He was a stud in college too. And what happened to him? He was a tool.
Man boobs.
Totally man booberich. Okay, but you know what? And that's it. If I know that you busted your ass and you beat people to get here, then I got mad respect for you.
But my last thing is this. When we talk about this offensive line and being nasty, they can't be nasty if all you have them doing is pass blocking. You got to let them put their will on somebody.
Say it again, Ken.
If you want them to be nasty, unleash them. All right, let a guy pull. Let him surprise somebody. All right, let him shock somebody in the hole and put his will on them. If you want them to be, if you played any football, you don't want to do this all day long. All right, you want to go after somebody, so let unleash them upon defenses and let them get at it a little bit. Of course, we know they're going to have to pass block, but let them get at it if you want them to have a nasty type of attitude.
But it helps the pass block because
it helps because
if I'm moving your ass and I'm driving you to the ground, well, guess what? My first job is to not get driven to the ground. And if I'm trying to not get driven into the ground or push back, guess what I'm not doing? I'm not going after that quarterback. All right, because my it's self-preservation. Because if these guys can move the guys the way we hope they can, okay, the way that they were able to in college, okay, and this is what I've said on this show. You run the ball. Because once you do, there's an old saying, and we all know this, you have to earn the right to rush the passer. And if you don't earn that right, if you don't stop the run because they're getting 5 and 6 and 7 yards a pop, guess what? That you have your first job is to attack and hold because you're trying not to get defeated and push back. If you're holding, man, now my quarterback got 4, 5, 6 seconds. 2.5 to 3 seconds is a lot in the NFL. And you're giving a guy 4, 5, or 6 seconds, and he has any type of competence. He's gonna pick you apart, and that's what we're thinking Justin Fields is, because from what we've seen in college, he is a passing quarterback who can run. He is a pocket passer who can run like a deer. So this is why I said if you start Justin Fields, cool. If you start Andy Dalton, cool. But make sure you run that God-blessed ball because it's going to buy time for these quarterbacks. Doesn't matter who's back there. It's going to buy time because David Montgomery's going to be getting 3, 4, 5, 6 yards. No, he's tired. Damian Williams, you get in there. You run 3, 4. Play running back. I'm telling you, I've seen so many times. And Armando Lara Jr. was one of my linemen. And there are so many times that we would see at the end of a game, you would just see them. They didn't want to, not even want to win. They didn't want to compete anymore. So when you take that away, if you take that the will to compete, you know how much time your quarterback is going to have back there to throw the ball, and that's what Matt Nagy doesn't get. We're not saying run the ball, go back to the wishbone and this and this. No. We're trying to make it easier for you because you have you have the line that you want, you have the running backs that you want. Make it easy so you can use the passing game that you want to use. One hand washes the other, but he just doesn't get it. Hopefully Bill Lazor got to him, and the Bill Lazor games that were called got to him. But, man, I hope so. And you talk about keeping the defense fresh, Barrelissimo. Come on, man. The defense like, oh, this team, they can come off. All right, we got about 20 minutes because it's going to be like a 12-play drive. So we got 20 actual minutes before we got to get back on the field. So
exactly.
Let's go, Nagy. Get your shit together, dude.
I'm out on this one. On the flip side, and you talked about how you have to earn to rush the passer. There's nothing better than being a defender when your defensive line coach tells you all you have to do is go after the quarterback, and you don't have to worry about
pin your ears back. Pin your ears back.
I said, being in high school, my defensive line coach was like, just go after the quarterback. I was like, for real? Like, it's nothing. Nothing. Are you serious? Like, that's it? That's my only responsibility. Like,
am I on candid camera? Because
exactly, it's nothing. There's nothing better.
That's the best moment.
I'm out. I'm out, guys. I appreciate it. I will holler at you both next week, man. Definitely appreciate the times. You guys be safe this weekend. Everybody on here be safe this weekend, man. I'll holler at you.
All right, Ken. We'll talk
Wednesday night, Kenneth. I'll see you there.
I'll be there. Just let me know what time, Phil.
We will. My producer will be on it, Jackal.
No doubt.
Jackal.
Shawn, I'm coming on here live as well as you, inviting you on. Keep it at 100 Wednesday night. It's the DDP birthday show.
Okay.
Do you have a good vocals? Can you sing happy birthday? No,
hey, my vocals are top notch for happy birthday, dude. Don't ask me to sing much else, but happy birthday. I'm good.
Birthday. Wait, what happy birthday are we singing here? I need to know.
Yeah, there's a couple of different ones. We're
there's a couple.
Stevie Wonder version. Or we sing the regular version.
Because you know, over here we jump into that Stevie Wonder version usually on this.
Happy birthday
to
and then we gotta start rocking.
Hey, if you got
happy, like we gotta let it ride.
I think it's gonna be too lit, so we can't go with the slower version. It's gonna be too lit.
Yeah,
it's gonna be too lit.
So. Go with the hype version. I always like hype.
He said the Marilyn Monroe.
Hey, look at this. This is freaking hilarious. The Marilyn Monroe.
Definitely not that one. I'm not Mr. President, any.
Mr. Dr. Draft Dr. Phil.
We'll see.
Oh, that's crazy. Hey, listen, we're gonna take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, you're gonna have the two-back set, me and my guy Phil Atosha. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here, Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
You know why you can? Don't get it. this sucker-nosed statue. Give him guts. I told you I wasn't going away. You got your shot. Now give me mine. Why don't you get the hell out of there? Shut up, old man. I ain't going nowhere.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the Sports Zone Chicago. The expected fire sale for the Cubs is apparently already underway. On Thursday, they traded Jock Peterson to Atlanta. In exchange, they get minor league first baseman Bryce Ball. The outfielder heads to Atlanta to ostensibly replace Ronald Acuna Jr. He's out for the season after suffering a knee injury last Saturday. Peterson batting .230 this season with 11 homers and 39 RBIs. All-Stars Chris Bryant, closer Craig Kimbrell, along with infielders Javier Baez and Anthony Rizzo, among the top names that could be headed out of Chicago. Baez, Bryant, and Rizzo all eligible for free agency after the season. It could be the first of many moves for the Cubs before the July 30th trade deadline. The team dropped 13 of 15 before the All-Star break. They've slid to third in the National League Central, 8 games out of first place. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the Sports Zone Chicago.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Shit goes downhill. You would think guys would fucking pick up their game. And
they're not going to have a $39 million cap hit for a guy who's not there. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago on this TGI Mickey Fakey Friday. It's the weekend, baby. And you know what time it is, 11 o'clock. It got started a little early today because we had a great conversation with our man. That's my man's over there. Our man's Kenneth Davis from That's Davis Show, and also the host of the Under Center podcast on NBC Sports Chicago. We got to talking football. And, you know, when we get to talking football, it's over. It's over. And this is my man here. He's one of the best in the biz, man. You know, he's one of the best in the biz as far as analysis and breakdowns. This is our man, the draft doctor himself, Phil Atoshin. What's up, Papa? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Kenneth kicking it off the right way. That's like getting a big 80-yard run on the first play of the game.
Or a Devin Hester opening kickoff in the Super Bowl. That's the way to start the game.
That's how you start it off. You got to get those big plays. I know Matt Nagy will always say big plays are nice. Big plays are nice. So we'll
Speaking
see.
Of, real quick off the topic, did you get the package?
I did. So thank you so much.
Good stuff, dude. I'm glad.
I'll send you something a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool, bro. Don't trip. But I'm glad it was. I hope that shirt fits. But it was. I'm telling you, that place is. Tons and tons of hats, and
I got so many like packages the other day. that Shane was breaking my child. Like, Phil gets everything, I get nothing. I go, so I got, some gifts. And then Shawn, you went out there, because we live in Connecticut. So it's hard for my, you're ordering from Amazon is limited. I don't like Fanatics. I've bought shirts from them and they're like chintzy. I don't. So like when Shawn is so kind to get to a store where there's Bears gear and we're preparing for the season. So Shawn was able to get my son some hats for the beach as well as winter hats, and myself a beautiful tee that I'm going to wear this Wednesday night, Shawn. I'm rocking
no
that.
way. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to wear that for the show. I'm a big avid collector of t-shirts. I think maybe Ivan put, I'm a huge Mr. T fan. So truthfully, I was wearing a Mr. T shirt.
I saw that the other day. That was awesome.
I love that. And then in the mail, I got this gold Keeping It 100 chain from super fan Josh E. And I was just so excited to do the show because of the influence of seeing Mr. T and that. He's from Chicago, right? He was a bouncer.
And he was a bouncer, security guard. He grew up in the right on 29th and State. I went to Robert Taylor Homes growing up. Rough upbringing, but you know what? He made it out. I was laughing right before we came back on because I thought of right before we left, before we went to break, and you asking Matt Nagy a question. Answer the question. Answer the fucking question. And I figured, go, did you order the code red?
Yeah. Who ordered the code red? I had a rant the other night. I was getting fired up just with the offensive line conversation. I mean, I'm so excited about training camp right around the corner. Yeah. And to see these battles. I remember just, on a high school level to know, okay, all of these kids have been working so hard, but then the final exam is now the pads are on. Who is going to step up? Who's going to apply? Who, a lot of times, again, it's at the NFL level. So it's obviously a little bit different because they have so much history playing the game. Well, most of them. So do they apply what they've learned in the classroom onto the football field really well? Those are the things that are going to separate you from good or great. Is how do you apply? And that's why the coach is so important. You have to assess the locker room. What are they capable of handling? Matt Nagy's infamous for having this playbook. You've seen the Greek diner play sheet. So how do you condense it, simplify it? You got a young kid in there. And to your point, without that cohesiveness, I don't think you put Justin Fields out there to take all these hits and learn the game like that. I've never been a learn it and get beat up while you're learning it, because that could take, you never know how somebody handles. Armando might have handled the pressure of getting hit and loved it, but some guys don't. So they might, close down, or, you saw it with David Carr when he was with the Texans. Mm-hmm. He took a beat in there. That kid had a lot of freaking talent, but he couldn't get over that hurdle, and mentally he couldn't process the field or whatever because there was no consistency up front for him and there was no surrounding talent. So you've seen a lot for every Aaron Rodgers and, Patrick Mahomes, there's like 30 guys that just had some talent and couldn't overcome that wave of physicality that the NFL and speed that the NFL has. So I'm excited about getting to see these guys live. I hope Nagy has a great plan. I know they're going to do inter-squad practice with the Miami Dolphins too.
That's going to be awesome.
So that's going to be great. Did you apply for tickets to go over to Hallis?
No, I didn't. Because I'm going to apply for credentials. So we're in the process of getting that. So if we can get the,
that'll be phenomenal.
Yeah, that'll be
a Shawn Sierra question. That would be great.
And man, they're going to be straight. They're going to be hardcore football. Like, well, why did you pull the guard on that one? Was that a straight RPO or was that just a?
Yeah, Coach, on 3rd and 1, why is Tariq Cohen in the game there? Wouldn't it have made more sense to have a bigger back in the game
and pound it and shove it down their throat? Or did you know?
Coach, pitching it out on 3rd and 1 to your wide receiver, was that a smart move?
There was a play I was looking at from last season because I was putting together a little rewind for the network, and it's 3rd and 4, Shawn, and they put trips out to the right in bunches. They run a guy in motion, and it's clearly man to man because the corner's following the motion. So it's 3rd and 4 now. Big moment in the game. It's against Green Bay too, your rival. See the man, right? They still throw the bubble screen, and they're trying to ask a Fetty to go all the way out 15 yards and block the corner that's pressed up on Allen Robinson. So guess what happens? 3rd and 4 turns to 3rd and 6 because Allen it's late, kind of weird ball. Corner just comes right up and tackles him.
Because he's right there.
It's like, these are the things that just blow your mind when you watch the situational play call. You hear me say that all the time. It's like everybody can, all right, your first 15 plays, you could see success. It's up to you now to assess. You gotta let go of your pride as a play caller to see what's working. If the freaking dive play isn't being stopped and you just want to do the pitch out like Ivan said, because no, that's poor coaching. And that's why it's up to me, you, Kenneth, these people to really hold the flames to the feet of Nagy when it comes to situational play calling and a game plan. So I said this the other night, Shawn, he is the only question. I love looking at this roster, assessing the talent there defensively. They restructured their offensive line. That's going to be exciting. I love the running backs. The receivers have speed. You got some speed threats in there. You got some unknowns. How is Anthony Miller going to handle the ramifications of his name being out there for trades? He's going to come in motivated like F you, like that. Anthony Miller, I'll sign up for. Yep. We were talking about Tariq Cohen. He's limping. We don't know what he's going to bring. Is he going to be the Tariq Cohen that when the Saint cornerback went like this, he started playing hard? Or is he going to be the same old East-West guy that's looking to make a big play every time he touches instead of just getting first downs? So there's a lot. And Cole Kmet, how is he and Jimmy Graham going to be? Who's going to be that 3rd tight end in there? You've seen them flux. Is he going
to have a breakout year? You know what I mean? Is he going to be, and the thing that we talked about is like there's so much there. When you mentioned the roster, like they're loaded at every position. And so for Matt Nagy to not use this, and this is why the run game starts at all. Because you talk about if that dive play's working, well, guess what? You pull it and you hit the tight end on a tight end pop or a tight end slant because everybody's coming in because your dive play's getting 3 or 4 yards. Exactly. And then you're going to say, okay, they're just going to run it and shove it down our throat. We're going to stop it. Oh, no, they're not. They pulled it. And now the linebacker is filling the hole. And guess what? There's a vacancy where he left. And now the tight end gets it and runs for whatever. Is Cole Kmet going to be a little nasty? Is he going to be, because he wasn't nasty last year.
Right.
And it was a rookie year. So I can get it. But you know what? Now you need to be nasty. Now you're at TEU, Tight End University. So you're with the George Kittles. You're with the Tony Gonzalez. I think he was one of the guys hosting it, wasn't it?
Greg Olsen was out.
Greg Olsen, there you go.
Kittle.
So you're talking about the top tight ends in the NFL. So you need to pick something up from them. You need to absorb, through osmosis or just by watching, how great tight ends go about their business and get a little bit of an attitude. Because if we get a tight end with an attitude who likes to run people over,
oh my God,
come on, man!
I think he picked it up towards the end of the year. You started to see it, but I wanted to let you know, Phil, your favorite people, PPF. They didn't even have him. They didn't even have him in the top 25, top 30 tight ends in the league. He wasn't even on the list. So I feel like there's a big chip on Cole Kmet's shoulder. I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to have a great year this year.
Yeah, those lists that come out, you saw David Montgomery reference those lists. As much as they don't really matter, you get labeled in a certain way that doesn't sit well with you, then you got to do something about it. So that's self-motivation. I think when I'm talking about Cole Kmet, I will say this to Ivan's point. You saw him stepping up when he became more a part of the game plan. And that's another area where you're scheming to involve somebody in your offensive philosophy. Just you have no counter off of something you've done previously. That's a big mistake. So when you're self-scouting, hopefully Nagy and company see that the hodgepodge or the potluck offense that you continue to throw out there can't be. You have to have this is who we are. This is what we do. And then you build off that. You go further and further out, but you have to find the foundation of what it is that you're going to do, whether it be formationally or philosophically. And Nagy has never done that. He just has his playbook, drops it down, and these are the things we're going to try out. And you can't be like that. And hopefully he's learned that. And one other thing about Cole Kmet, as we're talking about him, I think it's so important that he be so much a part of what they do. Like, it's important to get him involved because he needs to understand as a young tight end what it's going to be like, the grind of catching these balls, putting your shoulders down and getting after, getting many yards as you can. You can't learn that if you're not getting the ball. So it's so important to get him involved in this offense early and often. And I agree with you. I love the fact, I think we talked about this previously, that he was down there working with all these guys, seeing how pros go after it, and be a competitor. If you're not competing, I don't know what you're in this league for, to be the best. And you saw the pictures of him physically. He looks like he has prepared real hard, worked on his body to be ready for this football season. So I remember, Shawn, I'm sure you do, Greg Olsen as a Bear. And he was coming into his second year, and you saw the same kind of little glimpses in that first year near the end. In that second year, he got hurt, a little nicked up in the knee in the preseason, and we didn't see him for a few weeks. And then he came in there so motivated to play, and the Greg Olsen story was written until he was ridden out of town by Mike Martz, for God's sake.
Fucking Martz. I don't need a tight end in my offense.
Oh, my God. You had the tight end there for the first time in a long time. That was just a difference maker.
Cutler's buddy too. Cutler was mad as a mug, dude, when he traded him. Like, you did what?
Too.
That was the Greg Olsen. Remember, him and Cutler got along so well. It was I'll never forget the play. It was a blitz coming off the corner. I want to say it was against the Cowboys. The blitz coming off the corner, and Olsen was hot. Cutler took like half a step back, hit Olsen, and Olsen. There's a receiver running down the slot. Running down the field. He was in the slot. And the DB, it was man. The DB's running with him, and Greg Olsen's running right behind the DB.
Was against Dallas.
Against Dallas. And it's just so beautiful. The DB's looking this way, and behind him, running next to him, is Greg Olsen. And the DB has no idea.
All the way.
I'll stay with you since you're not looking over here. And he'd run. And it was awesome, you know. And that was a time when I was like, wow, we have something here with Cutler and Olsen.
Jeffrey, Marshall, Cutler. Well, but before that, you had Olsen. You didn't have Olsen and Marshall. I'm sorry. You had who did we have? We had Rashid Davis, Greg Olsen, Bernard Berrien,
Berrien,
Muhsin Muhammad.
I was gonna say
Muhsin
Muhammad.
Muhsin Muhammad. That offense that was the offense that had a glimpse of greatness, but the greatness, came from Thomas Jones, Cedric Benson pounding it up in there. And
speaking of wide receivers, dude, talk to me. What do you think about A-Rob? They didn't get that deal done. Had to be done yesterday, 3:00 Central Time, and the long-term deal didn't get done. So I don't know how he's going to live this year on $17.7 million, but
imagine having that problem. Sign me up for that problem.
What do you think? Do you think this is the last? Because you can tag him 3 times, and the price goes up every time because it's the average of the top 5 salaries at your position. So he's at 17.7 this year, I believe. So it's going to be 20 next year. If they tag him a third time, it'll be over that, 21, maybe 22 next year. And that's all. That's what he's asking for, is 20 a year. So what do you think would be, or do you think this is the last we've seen, we will see of A-Rob as a Chicago Bear, or what?
This is the story of who are you, A-Rob? Like, we saw the curtain get opened in A-Rob show, like this, in my opinion, an immature side of himself, handling the business side through the social media stuff and being unhappy and what have you. And in a year where you're transitioning to a rookie QB and that competition, and Andy Dalton's here, you know, the Chicago Bears had a plan in place, and as Shane has continuously said, Ryan Pace played it perfectly. They put a big offer on the table for Galladay. Almost 9 hours later, Allen Robinson's coming into Hallis Hall signing that franchise deal, because the Bears would love consistency from that position. And Allen Robinson, for his faults, I believe, you know, I don't think he's an elite, like he's in that top 10, maybe he's in the 10 as a football player, but he is a great football player that, you know, I don't think is worth 20 million. I think you could do better. When the kid Godwin was coming out of that draft, he was my number one receiver, and I got a lot of flack for that. Now he's with the Bucks. He didn't get his, so he becomes a player in this game. You obviously see that, you know, based on the offer they put to Galladay, that they recognize that they want an elite big time playmaker. And I think that Allen Robinson's more of a consistent, you know, catcher of the football. Now he's made his big plays, but Shawn, I say this, and I was going to say it this week, Allen Robinson has an opportunity here to define who Allen Robinson is, because if he comes into this offense with a quarterback that you and I believe is better than Mitch Trubisky and Andy Dalton, if he's the starter, or Justin Fields, and he becomes cohesive with these guys and starts being a consistent playmaker, like each and every Sunday, he's the guy, he's the lead dog, then he becomes a priority to what it is that you want to sign. Now, are they going to put the tag on him? Hell no, they ain't going to put the tag on him again. But you could turn around and say, hey, we were wrong. Let's get back to the discussion. We want you here long term. And you know, Allen's going to define, because at the end of the day, this is a business. And if you're consistent, go back to that time with Conway and Kramer. You looked at Jeff Graham got traded out of town. They were getting cohesive, and you let this guy go. And that's been the story of the Chicago. Greg Olsen, we're getting cohesive. We're building. That's a piece to our offense. Nope, trade him out of town. These are the things that you've seen the Chicago Bears not understand. So if Allen Robinson, you and I will be talking about, if he's in this next upcoming season, each and every week, I don't give a shit about the numbers, putting up a performance that is consistent to an elite receiver and is becoming a big definition of what you do offensively, then he becomes a priority to get under contract, in my opinion, because homegrown, knowing the system and being a part of the culture is very, very important to me. And it's something, as I go back historically with the Chicago Bears, Jeff Graham, trade him. Olsen, trade him. You get these players that show up each and every week and you don't reward them. That's a problem. So Allen has been a distraction, no doubt about it. I know the front office does not like the fact that they probably didn't get a deal done, or what he was asking to get paid, and the drama on social media. But now, when it comes to football, this guy has been a pro's pro. Say what it is you want about him. He didn't have the greatest of year last year, but there was a lot of reasons why he did not. So let's see how he goes, because I'll be the first one banging the drum if he's working his ass off away from the football. That's a problem.
Well,
he hasn't been the best.
He had 1250. He had 1,250 yards last year, so it was a good season. And that's with the flux of quarterback. That's with with Trubisky, with David Foles, with Chase Daniels. You know, imagine what this guy. I agree with you. I don't think he's in that top Julio Jones category, but I think he's in the group underneath it, and I think that's a phenomenal group to be. You know,
I think he can get to that because he has the talent. A lot of people, you know what? He's a master route runner.
I was just about to say that. Like, he always gets open. Always, because yes,
and he's a big guy. So for him to be able to make people go in the wrong direction and get yourself open, that's a quarterback's best friend. It's called separation. Now you got these passing windows, and he's a bigger target. Last year, I would say, even with the numbers, he left a lot of opportunities out there where he could have won these jump balls. And you're so accustomed to him doing it that it became something that, you know, he took personally because, you know, how ruthless fans can be, you know, and getting at him. And you should have caught that ball against Green Bay. You bobbled this ball and it got intercepted by this team. And you could see it bothers him because I believe he's a pro's pro. I really do. And again, I think he can get to that point. Let's see what he does this season, because I feel like he's feeling like now I'm going to play under this woes me $17 million, but I'm also going to have the opportunity to play for pay. That's always a motivating factor to a wide receiver, I've come to learn in my life.
You know, and here's the thing that both sides need to reevaluate and look at this thing. You know, he's the best receiver we've got in a long time. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we just talked about, he played with Mitch, he played with Nick Foles, he played with Chase Daniels. Give me a name that you're like, oh yeah, great quarterback. Well, none of them fall in that category, and yet he still had 1,200 yards.
Right.
Him on the other side, like, hey, listen, the Bears gave you a big ass contract when you're coming off a knee injury. Okay, they trusted in you. Okay, they gave you more because what did you make? 15 mil in 2018, 13 mil in 15 in 2018, 15 mil. 2019 he made 14 mil, and in 2020 he made 13 mil for coming off an ACL. A guy a wide receiver. That's a pretty big contract that they gave you. So take that into consideration. Where they had faith in you, you delivered, and I don't know if I don't feel he's worth 20 million. You can get 17 mil a year for 3 years, or 18 mil. Like the contract they offered him last year, he declined. I'm like, dude, that would have been great. And I just think that sometimes, here's the issue. You might negotiate yourself out of that money. That's generational money right there. That's life altering money. Right. All for what, $4 million? So you know, $6 million, you don't want to sign it. I don't know. It's, and I know it's about respect, but still, you can. What did Barlissimo say? You can cry in your hundos if you don't feel like you're being respected. You know what I mean? So I don't know. If you want to stay, I think you can. I just think that it's going to be a situation where you're going to have to maybe put that aside a little, put your ego aside a little bit, and go to work, man. I want. How awesome would it be to have this? He's signed for the next 3 years. Justin Fields has a legit number one receiver for his first 3 seasons in the NFL. Come on, man. You name me a quarterback that didn't have a legit number one receiver that won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, listen, he has the opportunity. I think saw Barlissimo's comment. I'm there too. Darnell Mooney was so impressive on film of what he was able to do as a rookie. Forget just burning Jalen Ramsey on I call it the Adam Rank route, because Rank called him out, and Jalen is still heated.
Yeah.
Taking shots at Mooney, but you know, that one play isn't the definition of what he has been on tape. He's been a rookie dynamo. You don't see many rookies come into the NFL at receiver and be able to perform in a manner with which he has attacked, especially, and I'll be the first one to admit that I was so shocked at how aggressive the guy is for his size, because he's slight of frame, but plays with all heart and passion. So Darnell Mooney, with that speed and that dynamic playmaking ability, was missed out there by those quarterbacks that you listed and the deep ball game. So if Andy gets on the same, you saw Andy working out with Darnell Mooney. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. I know it's been around on Instagram and what have you. I don't think people should sleep on what Darnell Mooney is going to bring to this table, because you got 3 speedsters on this football team in Godwin, Bird, and Mooney. So those 3 guys are all sub 4.3 football player. 4.3 speed is world-class speed. You know, it's not.
Wasn't it Goodwin who's actually in the Olympic trials?
Yes, he's in the Olympic trials. He ran a 4.28. Bird ran a 4.25, and Darnell Mooney's a 4.33 guy. I mean, you're talking
Leadfoot. Get a slow ass out of here.
That's the fastest receiving core. This will be the fastest receiving core the Chicago Bears have ever had, because you look in the history, you know, Bernard Berrien, Willie Galt. They had one speedster. They tried to get these guys with Iris Curry, these track guys, John Capel. Remember John Jackson from Florida, little guy. You had all these attempts at track guys to go over to the end. It's a different ball game. So
Ronaldo Skeets, Nehemiah.
Oh yeah. Now we'll see. I mean,
remember they had him on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Ronaldo Nehemiah, I think it was number 85. He was doing a hurdle in his San Francisco 49ers uniform. Ronaldo Skeets Nehemiah. Right? No, he didn't. But I just remember that name because he's a track dude.
Yeah.
But I just remember Ronaldo Skeets Nehemiah was his name. Skeets.
Well, we'll see. I mean, in my history, it's been a long time, I would say, since I looked at just a roster and said, wow, there's a lot to work with on both sides of the football. And to have that speed element mixed in with Allen Robinson, Cole Kmet, how are they going to use Jimmy Graham? Some of these receiver like Javon Wims, Riley Ridley, Anthony Miller, Thomas Ives is someone I've always been so excited about. You get a glimpse of him. He's a big-time football player on the East Coast at Colgate, and he went on
freaking gate. Sorry,
yeah,
our rivals.
I know,
one of our rivals.
I was watching them play in the spring, Colgate versus Holy Cross. I texted you. I'm like, holy shit, Holy Cross and Colgate are on. Yeah, we played Colgate at Hofstra as well. But yeah, that kid is somebody I'm interested in seeing. He's been on the roster, on the practice squad for like 5 years, it seems. And he's a bigger guy that every time he's been on the field in live games, he has been a showcase of hands catcher. Then who's the tight end? The other from Princeton. Is he from Princeton? Yeah, he's from Princeton. Oh man, I always lose his name. He's somebody that was in there. He had that big touchdown one-handed catch against the Lions when he was in there.
I can't think of it.
I can't think of it. God.
You know, the only thing
Ivan, you got him. Jesper Horsted.
Jesper Horsted, yeah.
Jesper Horsted. I want to see what he brings, because JP Holtz, to me, he's got to look in the mirror, because when you put JP Holtz in at fullback and you watch him play, I think Shawn Sierra can suit up and give a better effort blocking a linebacker or a strong safety than JP has shown. It's been a disappointment seeing that.
Well, that's the problem when you let tight ends block as a fullback. I mean, it's a specific position for a reason, like the body type, the way you present yourself, the way you attack your blocks. It's in a completely different position. Just to throw a tight end out there, I think it's insulting.
one of the things about Darnell Mooney I'm concerned with, and this is actually it's in tandem with Allen Robinson. If Allen Robinson leaves, is Darnell Mooney can he be the number one? See, I don't know that. We don't know that because he's been a phenomenal number two. And that could be his ceiling, which is a phenomenal ceiling. Let's not get it wrong.
Right.
But, but you still need a number one. Like once Brandon Marshall left, and all of a sudden Alshon Jeffrey wasn't making all those crazy catches because now all the focus is on him as opposed to Brandon Marshall. So can Darnell Mooney be a number one? I don't know. We're going to see, but I would like to not have to find out because we keep Allen Robinson, because that combination, that's why Darnell Mooney was a very smart player. He took advantage of the fact that everybody and their mama was looking at Allen Robinson because they knew that he was their go-to. So that means he's got single coverage. That means safeties are kind of leaning toward Robinson, cornerbacks, everybody's leaning toward Robinson. And with his speed, he would make plays because defenses were more focused on Allen Robinson. Smart player, make your money, get your name out there. Now people have to worry about both of you, which could help Allen Robinson get more catches. It might take some of Darnell Mooney's numbers down, but I don't think it will. I think he's going to have a breakout year because if you do start bracketing Darnell Mooney, then you're going to leave Allen Robinson wide open, and I don't think a defensive coordinator wants to do that, dude. Not at all.
Yeah. He much like Allen Robinson have the opportunity to define them who they are. He's going to be interesting for me to see because of his talent and his speed. And he's somebody that's, for being a slight guy, Bernard Berrien was what he was, deep threat, take the top off, beat you on the deep game. He wasn't really afraid to get hit, but it wasn't his cup of tea type of thing. I'm not going to say that, but with Mooney, this is the guy that blocks better than JP Holtz. This guy blocks better than Allen Robinson in run games. And to the credit of the young man, there's an attitude that goes along with blocking as a receiver. You have to have it. He has that. So he has the speed. He's got the want to. And, the kid from, I always forget his name, from the Cleveland Browns, but we'll use the salsa. What was his name? Victor Cruz.
Victor Cruz.
Yeah, he's another guy that I think of that wanted the football. Like, he didn't care if he was going in a window next to a linebacker, knowing he's going to get nailed by the strong safety. He wanted the football. Darnell Mooney has that same attitude. He wants the football. He gets up in the air. He is a great body adjuster to the football. In fact, there's a throw by Mitch, off balance, throws it deep against the Packers. The adjustment that Darnell Mooney does.
I know what you're talking about. It's going from right to left on the screen, and he just turns. And
he had to turn two hands, adjust himself right there. That's when I know, okay, this kid's just a naturally gifted football player. You get those that have these extra sets of traits, these elite speed and traits. Now you're cooking with gas. So I will say, I don't mean to not be able to have an opinion, but I'll say defining who he is, one or two, is one thing, but the player that I've seen so far as a rookie excites the hell out of me for what he's going to do in this upcoming season. Darnell Mooney is somebody that I feel like is going to have a huge season, really.
Well, I do too, because Allen Robinson's still here. So you continue to focus, double cover and shade safeties toward Allen Robinson. Darnell Mooney, with more confidence because of his success as a rookie, is going to have a breakout year. Again, my question is, if he does, and going into the following season in 22, is he going to be a number one if you can't sign Allen Robinson? Because that's the thing that's going to, again, you saw what happened at Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey was an all-pro number two.
Yes.
Put him in number one, it's a little different story. So we'll see. But at least for this year, I think and I hope he's smart enough to realize that they still have to. Whether you're afraid of Darnell Mooney or not, you can't double cover and bracket two guys. Okay, so they're going to have to go with their number one receiver and do that to Allen Robinson, and Darnell Mooney should have a breakout year. And if he does, wow, that'll be phenomenal for this team. It doesn't matter who's at the quarterback position. That's going to be phenomenal for this team. So, hey, Phil, man, I appreciate your time, brother.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
Great stuff, buddy. And then for Wednesday for your birthday, for sure. Of course, I'll be on
Yep.
there, man. You know,
We'll get in touch with you. We're just gonna bring everybody some faces of brotherhood on the show, just for some fun. For next Wednesday night, we're gonna announce who's gonna take my place for the week. For when me and my beautiful wife go on vacation finally for a week. So yeah, next Wednesday.
Are you bringing the kids, or is it a family one, or just you two?
Yeah, no, we didn't have a sitter for the boys, so
okay,
we're bringing the boys, but we haven't gone on vacation in 10 years since our honeymoon. So we're excited, to say the very least, to get
Where are you going? DR? No.
Yes, DR.
Okay, yeah.
The Dominican Republic. I'm excited. I've never been, so all inclusive, Shawn.
Those are fun, dude. Those are really, really, really fun.
Tate's already ready, so he's like,
is he?
So I can keep going up to the ice cream and I don't have to pay for it, Daddy. I go, that's right.
That's right. You can eat ice cream until you puke,
Get
son.
as much ice cream as you want.
They may ban you from that afterwards, but just go until you puke. Don't worry about it.
Listen, check us out. Instagram at Phil_Toshin, at the Tape Never Lies Network, www.thetapeneverlies.com. This tomorrow, me, my father, and Berlissimo are breaking down Jalen Johnson and Kendall Vildor in our last look back at this roster, important positions, breaking down the tape, giving you an emphasis on film study, what those two players bring to the table. Kendall Vildor, is he going to be the starter opposite, or is it going to be the veteran Desmond Trufant? These things we're going to break down. So I'm excited. Me, my dad, and Berlissimo.
I think in that one it's going to be Trufant. I think Kildor's going to be a much better slot corner.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. He's wearing my number 22. I got to pull for him.
I get you. I hope he cleared up with Matt Forte. So, hey Phil, great stuff, Papa. We'll be in touch, bro. And
love you, man.
You have a great weekend. All right.
You too, man. Have a great one.
All right.
God bless. Bye.
All right, guy. That was my man, Phil Toshin. Man, 3 hours is come and gone. Ivan, can you freaking believe it? Unbelievable. What a phenomenal show. I want to thank Joseph Phillips for coming on, and dude, that opening segment with Joseph was awesome. That was hilarious. Then we added Ken to that. That was great stuff. Thank Kenneth Davis for coming on. That was great stuff as well. And then of course the DDP draft Dr. Phil Toshin for coming on. So we had the full house backfield, and then we got a new sub package, and we had the 2-back set after the full house backfield. So great stuff. I want to thank everyone at Sports Zone Chicago, Elliot Baez, our executive producer, Clarence Council, our social media guy, my co-host and absentia, Maya Kai, and this guy right here with his goofy ass hat that he's wearing, Ivan Vargas. So thanks to those guys.
They're about to trade everybody, so I don't care. A new one. So the whole new team.
Man, so with all those guys that allowed us to have this a phenomenal show, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Berlissimo, Armando, I call him Junior. So Junior. Then we also had Alex Acevedo. Thank you very much for tuning in. The Factor One, he tuned in as well. Then we had Vernon tune in as well. We had Luis Mejia tune in, guys. Jason tuned in, guys. Awesome stuff. And that's what we appreciate you guys tuning in and giving us your thoughts and questions and comments. Really makes this show pretty damn awesome. So for Elliot Baez, Clarence Council, Maya Kai, and my guy Ivan Vargas.
Hey guys, check out the Smoke Fellas tomorrow, 11 to 1. Should be a fun show. Have a good weekend.
Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra. We're going to take a 69-hour break. We're going to come back on Monday, same bat time, same bat channel, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. Make sure you follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook and Instagram at Sports Zone Chicago, on Twitter at Sports Zone Chi, that's CHI. Make sure you follow us on subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you download the app wherever you get your apps from. Just type in Sports Zone Chicago, download it, and take us with you on the go. Guys, enjoy the weekend. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a beautiful weekend here in the Chi. If you're in the Chicagoland area, it's going to be mid to high 80s all weekend. Like I said, get your ass down to the Taco and Tamale Fest down at 16th. It's going to be on 16th and Morgan in the heart of Pilsen. Man, 2 blocks from away from where I was born. Taco Tamale Fest this weekend. It's going to be awesome. Or whatever you plan to do, enjoy it. Get in someone's pool. It's going to be nice and hot. Enjoy summertime shy, baby. It's here. So with that being said, guys, I got 2 more words for you. I'm out.